Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 167 of the Kiss Army Nation podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Pasquale Vary.
And I am Claudio Spera. Welcome to the show, everyone. Originally from Hungary, our guest tonight has definitely one of the best stories as a Kiss fan that you can find on Stefan Frommann's book, The Best Kiss of My Life. His love for the band knows no borders. He did everything in his power to follow his dreams, and even to this day, he embodies the passion for rock and roll. Ladies and gentlemen, from Budapest, let's welcome Zoltan Vary. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Nice to meet you guys. Actually, I'm not in Budapest at the moment, but in Heringsdorf in Germany.
Oh yeah, you are. So you're playing a gig there tonight?
Yeah, it's a weekend, so every weekend we are on the road.
Okay.
It's a crazy touring band. Kiss for Everybody is always on the road somewhere.
Super nice.
Fantastic, fantastic. Zoltan, it's such a pleasure to meet you and to have you on the show. You know, one of the things Claudia and I do on the show is reach out to Kiss fans like you to discuss your unique stories. And it's cool to hear your background and your experiences in the Kiss community. I especially like having Claudio on the show because he brings in guests from literally all over the world. And I love to hear what the music scene is like outside of Canada and the US. So I want to start there. So for you, what was the rock scene like in Budapest when you were a teenager growing up?
Well, first of all, I'm an old guy, you know. I was born in the 60s, and I was born in Hungary back in the day, you know, in behind the Iron Curtain in a socialism. That wasn't easy. So, but of course, we found a way how to know better the bands and how to because you know it was forbidden. Rock and roll was forbidden in the 70s and let's say in the 80s still in Hungary. So if you couldn't get an AC/DC or Kiss or Iron Maiden album in a Hungarian store, there was some good friends who used to drive from Budapest or where I was born in Kecskemét to the formerly Yugoslavia. Now it's called Serbia. Mm-hmm. So Yugoslavia was somehow a more open country. The leader was Tito. That was the leader in Yugoslavia, Tito. And Tito let the people enjoy rock and roll music. What means if you would drive to Subotica, that's a middle-sized town. I think it still exists, Subotica, and I wasn't there since 40 years. So we were driving to Subotica, and we get some albums there in the local store, and we were driving home and enjoy the albums. Because in Hungary, in Budapest, in Kecskemét, it wasn't possible. It was forbidden.
Wow.
Crazy, but true.
But so what were some of the challenges you had to go through to even access music, even check out some magazines, get some merch? What did you do? How did you get around that?
Yeah, but it's a crazy story. Part of the story, it's very crazy, but I tell you, but keep it between you and me.
And our listeners.
You know, there was, back in the days, there was two types of passports. There was the blue one and there was the red one. With the blue one, you could drive once a year to a country like Austria or West Germany or Holland or whatever. With the red one, with the red passport, you could travel 3 times a year to these formerly communist countries like Russia or Czech Republic or Romania or wherever. So and on the top, you couldn't have big bunch of money with you. There was a limit. I think that was like back then there wasn't euro. There was the Deutsche Mark, and in Austria there was a shilling, and there was the what kind of money was there? The lira in Italy, whatever. Yeah. So when you travel to Austria, for example, you couldn't have more than, I think it was like 1,000 shilling with you. But with 1,000 shilling, you couldn't buy too much things. So what my mother and what my grandmother did, put a big bunch of money to small envelope or whatever it is, and they hide it
Okay.
to the bra or to the some special places, but I
That's
cannot,
right.
Yeah.
cannot name. But they hide the money. They were hiding the money, and then we would travel to Vienna or to Yugoslavia, and we were able to buy more records. And of course, on the way back, you had to hide these things, what the goods, the goodies, like the albums and the
Right.
magazines and whatever you bought. You have to hide it in the car or in a train. Otherwise, you couldn't cross the border.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, this shows, how much you were even when you were a kid, how much you were in love with, with your passion, your rock and roll, and persevere. So, Zoltan, how did it all start for you? How did you become aware of Kiss?
It was simple. As I remember, I started to play the drums, how to play the drums,
Okay.
and my drum teacher invited me to their rehearsing session. He said, "Your class starts at 3 o'clock. Come over earlier, and you can listen to the music. What we're rehearsing." It was like 70, 79, 80 exactly at the time. And then I joined the rehearsing room, and I listened to that, you know, back in the days, hits like from Village People or
Yeah.
Boney M or whatever it was. And then the last song was the rehearsing, and he told me later that it's a brand new song. They started to play, and I immediately fell in love with that melody. And they finished the rehearsing. Then we started the class, the how to play the drums class.
Mhm.
And my first question was, "What was the last song you rehearsed today?" And I couldn't forget. He's got his glass on like this, and he said, "Let me take a look at my paper. This is this is Kiss. The band's name is Kiss, and the song title is I Was Made." That's what he told me. That was all information I got from him. Then I got home and I told my mom immediately, "Mom, I need an album from a band called Kiss, but I have no idea how they look like, how they sound like." I heard a song and the melody, I Was Made melody, immediately catch my ear. Then my mom asked a truck driver who was a good friend of the family that next on your next round, please get some Kiss albums for my son. I was like 14, 15 at the time.
Okay.
And 2 weeks later, he arrived to the house with a big truck and he bought me 7 Kiss albums.
Oh,
He
wow.
made it 7. And he put it on the table, there was Dynasty, Alive, Rock and Roll Over, and then the Destroyer, Love Guns, so the some solo albums. And I couldn't believe it. I said, "Oh, wait, what's that?" And he said, "That's what you're looking for. That's the Kiss albums. This is how they looks like." And I was freaking out immediately. And of course, it was a weekday. The next day, I had to go to school, and I was running to my room, get all the albums. I was listening to one by one, the the all night long.
Wow.
I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep in a minute. So, and the next day in the school, of course, I was like, "Oh Jesus, I couldn't, listen to the teacher, whatever." But that was the first night when I started the Kiss albums one by one. It was I was in heaven. I was in
Did
heaven.
you like it? Because you only knew one song or maybe a part of the song. And
Yeah,
what was your reaction when you were exposed to, the image and the music and all of that? Did you like it?
yeah. The image immediately catch me because and Paul's image was the first one I got. Oh, that guy with the stars, with a star on
Oh,
his eye. Oh, he has to be cool. And I take a look on Gina. It was he was scary for me. I was like 15 years old. He was scary for me. And then I liked Ace. I liked Peter, of course, but Paul was immediately was my favorite member of Kiss. And then it's interesting because Dynasty is a little popish, the disco, rock
right.
disco. But then I listen to Love Gun, it's much heavier. I listen to Alive. Wow,
That's
what a
right,
great life!
exactly.
So it was very 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 mixed, very good mix. So I got let's say from 73 to 79, all what they put on the table, I got everything from them immediately.
Wow.
Through these 7 albums. Then of course I started to collect all albums. So then I asked the guy, so please, what you find, get me all the Kiss albums.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Zoltan, in the book that we mentioned in the introduction, the one from Stefan Frommann. So you talk about, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it well, but Zusa's house and something related to magazines. Okay. And this goes hand in hand with what Pask was asking you at the beginning, not having access to magazines or merch. So can you share the story with us?
Yeah, the same story like the albums. It's also the magazines was forbidden. So of course, when I was 14, the first international magazine that I got in my hand, it was Playboy. What else?
Okay.
Playboy was the first. The second was Bravo, and then Pop Rocky and all these European magazines. And then Zuzia, that's her name, but right pronouncing. But Zuzia means Susie. Let's call her Susan or Susie. So Susie has got a family member who also used to travel to Vienna, to the capital of Austria. So and as I remember, it was always Wednesday or Thursday, if I'm right, when every week when the new Bravo released. So she's got every day the brand new Bravo, and I lived like a couple of houses from her. Then and every Wednesday, you can meet with the same boys and girls at Zuzha's house because we were so hungry and want to know what's going on this week. So who's in a poster, who's got interview in a magazine, and that time was the Bay City Rollers was almost every week. Bay City Rollers and Teens. There was a band called Teens, and then Kiss, and then was ABBA, of course, and some other pop stars, hard to remember. But for me, it was always Kiss. So then the fight started because, of course, there was the posters.
The poster,
so you have to always a few posters in every magazine. You have to take out very carefully, otherwise you could make some holes on the poster.
Right.
I wanted to put it on my wall immediately. So and we paid only for the posters crazy money. I remember it was like it's hard to remember how much, but my mom wanted to kill me every weekend, every week.
Of course.
Got home with 1 Bravo and 2 posters, and she said, "How much you paid for these things?" I said, "Oh, mommy, please don't ask. It was too expensive." So yeah. That was the only way. That was how you
that
can
was
get.
The only way to get access. Okay.
Right.
Guys, I was listening to an episode of Podcast Rock Cities, another Kiss podcast, and on the show, Joey Cassata said that fans our age, and Sultan, you mentioned you were born in the 60s, fans our age, the first Kiss album we usually get into is Dynasty. Was that the case for you? What was your first album that you got into?
No, as I got the information from my teacher that the I Was Made, that's the song title, and as I got those albums from the truck driver, I was immediately searching which album has that song. I found on Dynasty, so that was the first album I was listening to, Dynasty, and then Rock and Roll Over was the second somehow. I don't know why, but that was Dynasty I listened to.
Okay, so then you heard the music, and then later you saw the image. Now, did you feel that the music fit with that image?
Yeah, that's also just back on the time that I listened to the pop rock album of Kiss and also the hard rock, the Rock and Roll Over and Love Gun. So I tried to put it together, and on the top we had no clue who's singing in which songs. We tried to realize that guy has a strong voice that could be the scary guy, the Gene. And of course we couldn't pronounce the Gene. We called him Gene Simons.
Yeah.
Okay.
We called Gene Simmons Gene Simons, and we called Ace Frehley like Ocha Frizzly. We called Ocha Frizzly. We had no idea. We didn't speak English. We didn't know how to pronounce it. So and some people, of course, was mixing it. So that there was Paul Simons and Gene Stanley, and
Love it. I love it.
big because nobody had any clue. And on the top, uh, I listened to my first Kiss album in 1980, and the first video what I was watching, because it was also forbidden in the television. You couldn't see Kiss in the television. Believe it or not, I was waiting 7 years for my first Kiss video, what I could see in the television. When I told to my kids, my son is 22 years old, my daughter 18. When I told them those stories, they just couldn't believe it. I said, "How come, Papa?" Because
Right.
I said it was forbidden. It
Yeah.
it wasn't on the TV. You couldn't see those guys, your heroes, on the TV, and it was not possible.
Wow.
Now the kids, everyone, push the button and they got everything.
Yeah, you
That's
got it on your phone right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's incredible. Sultan, you mentioned before that at the same time when you were a kid, you took drum lessons and stuff. But so that basically shows your interest to become a musician, and even to this day, you're playing with different bands. So that's awesome. But when did you get into guitar? So when did you pick up the guitar, and who were your your biggest influences as a musician?
Yeah, as when it comes to a drummer, that was Cody Powell from Rainbow.
Okay.
He was my biggest influence as a drummer, and as somehow I never wanted to be a lead guitar player. I always wanted to being a good rhythm guitar player as Paul.
Mhm.
So when I started to listen to the Kiss songs later on, I mean, when I was thinking that, okay, I can play any Kiss song on the drums, but how about to play any Kiss song on a guitar? So I picked up the guitar, I bought a guitar for myself, and I tried to teach myself what Paul should play, because I had no clue, of course. So it was like self-education, kind of. And then later on, of course, in Hungary, there's lots of great teachers in a school and in private school. So I met another Zoltan Marotti, who later on became Ace Frehley in a Kiss Forever band, the Spaceman, I mean. So he taught me the part of Paul Stanley. Then we started to jam in his flat. He started to play the Ace part, and I was riffing. I was playing the Paul part, and it was sounded so cool together. And then only 1 or 2 years later, when we started to talk about with Pokey, our bass player, about the possible Kiss tribute band, and I said, okay, you could be Gene, I could be Paul, but Ace. Oh, wait a minute. That's the other Zolly. He also loves Kiss. Let's ask him, being the spaceman. So immediately said, okay. He joined the band. Then he asked his ex-drummer, who wasn't a Kiss fan, he was a Bon Jovi fan. That's why he left Kiss Forever 9 years later, because he was always crying, oh, I have to learn so many Kiss songs. I wanted to learn Bon Jovi songs. But he stayed in Kiss Forever for 9 years. Then because it was a joke, but he said, I'm leaving the band because I'm not a Kiss fan, I'm a Bon Jovi fan. But it is a great 9 years run, actually. So there's no problem at all. We're still friends. But so Paul was the main reason for me why I wanted to start to play the guitar, because I wanted to play the Kiss songs on guitar, not just on drums.
Okay. And it's interesting because I thought that that Kiss Forever band, the tribute band that you run basically with your other colleagues there, I thought it didn't go so back in time, but it started like a while ago, right? So when you were in your your teenager years, that's when you guys started to play together.
No. We Kiss Forever, we started in 95.
Oh, 95. Okay.
95. I was like 30 years old already.
Okay.
We started to, and I'm the oldest member of the band. but I'm. Take a look on me. I'm a good-looking 59, right?
Yes, you are.
Absolutely,
Yes, you
absolutely.
are. Yes, you are. So, absolutely.
Thank you.
Can you tell us more about the tribute band? Tell us more. So what's going on? So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's we started just really just for fun, and 2.5, 3 years later, we got an invitation from Vienna. There was Kiss Army Austria leader, Hard Wimmer, and he said, I'm making a Kiss Expo in Vienna, and I've heard about you. I've heard that you're playing these songs very well, and there's no other Kiss tribute around, only you. But as I invited Eric Singer, being as a special guest, and I need a band who looks not just playing the songs, but looks like Kiss. And it was like 2-3 months before the event. Would you put the makeup on and have costumes and everything on and come to the party? I said, wow, what a great invitation. Yeah, sure, let's do that. But the problem is, at the time, I was like 90, 92 kilos. I wasn't fat, but I had some extra kilos. Mm-hmm. So when our first costumes were made, that was the alive costumes. When the whole chest is,
yes, yeah.
You can see the whole chest. And I've got a belly. I got a little belly, at the time. I said, "Why it's not good." Oh Jesus! So I gave myself 2 months, and I was losing 12 kilos in 2 months. So then I was in a good shape for post any live costume. Since that day, because I love to eat. I tried to keep that shape and not having belly, and it's not easy because I love to eat.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say I'm in okay shape, absolutely okay shape. So then that was the first night with the Kiss Forever International in Vienna, and then somehow we just got more and more invitations. And in the first years, we played like 4, 5, 6, 8 shows in a year, and then it was really raising. And before COVID, before the pandemic started, it was like, for many years, it was like 85 shows per year.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. Wow.
All around Europe. So now we're counting 34 countries and 1,550 shows.
Oh, wow.
Wow. That's a big project.
That's impressive.
Wow. Yeah. As Kiss fans, it's fantastic how we as fans find ways to express our passion and love for the band, be it writing books, doing podcasts. In your case, the tribute band, was that your way of demonstrating your love for the band?
I had involved in 2 or 3 books, Hungarian books about Kiss. And also can't remember that night when Kiss came to Budapest in 2010 in a big sport arena. And the book what I wrote about Kiss and Kiss Forever band, it was Hungarian book of by Gene collecting everything,
Yeah.
And he speaks fluent Hungarian. So I met him in a backstage after the show, and I gave him the book. And he was asking Hungarian, what is this book all about? And I said, well, it's a Kiss and my band, Kiss Forever band. And he took a really serious Gene Simmons look on me. And he said, yeah, we need to speak about the copyright because you're using the logo.
Oh, boy.
I was sitting in my pants immediately. I said, oh, Jesus. What a mistake I did. I'm in front of Gene Simmons, who's taller than me, like, 10 centimeters tall. And it's with a serious look, he said, yeah, we need to talk about the copyright because you're using the logo. But I was very lucky because the Live Nation, the promoter, organizing some chicks for the band. So the side door was opened, and 4 or 5 girls just came to that big room, and Gene lost interest on my book. It was still in his hand, but he's taking a look on the girls. Oh, I started smiling on the girls, and I was slowly just sliding out from the scene. I said, okay, I'm not here.
I'm
I
gone.
wasn't here. Keep the book. I'm not here. I was running away. I was running away.
That's a cool story, because oftentimes, our passion for Kiss elevates when we meet a member of the band. So is that what got you really passionate about Kiss? Or is your tribute band, again, your way of expressing your passion for the band?
Yeah, we were lucky. We were lucky to meet them many times, but face to face, the two bands together, it's happened last year in Dresden on their farewell tour, and a good friend of mine, he's had a kind of business connection with Gene, and his name is Ferry. And Ferry asked Gene that, can I have a request? And Gene said, what's your request? And Ferry said, the band, I'm good friends with Kiss Forever band. How about if the guys could visit a Kiss show and put the makeup on and having a photo with you, the two bands together in makeup and costume. And Jim was thinking, and he said, okay, we can do that. So we were driving to Dresden, and it was also crazy because, there's a time when the show starts 9 o'clock, so they get the backstage, start to put the makeup on, I guess around, I don't know, 7 o'clock or something like this. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting in that area in the same sport hall. So I started to put makeup on. I said, oh Jesus, Paul Stanley is sitting maybe in the other side of that wall,
doing the same.
Only 5 meters from me. I couldn't see him, but he's doing the same that I do now. That in 1 hour we meet and a photo together. That was and of course we were so exciting and we met before, but it was a very special moment that the two bands really make up costumes, boots, and together on one photo. It was really hell of a experience.
That's
I met them personally many times in different places, and I went to Toronto watching Paul in the Phantom of the Opera. I went to Florida watching his solo tour. So I met him many times personally, like in real life. But they put the makeup on, and Paul Stanley, the Star Child, and Mary Zoltan, the Star Child, together, that was something very different.
Of course. Of course.
You can see why you're playing Paul in your tribute band, because of that connection you had with Paul.
Well, I guess Paul, that on a certain level. So it's very hard to catch him. If he's interested on someone or some reason, then he's listening to you. There was a dinner in Budapest when they had a press conference in '97, and we got the information which restaurant they stay and have a dinner. And me and my friend, the Ferry, the person I mentioned, we went to the restaurant, and Gene invited us to get those big table. So there was the Paul and Gene and Doug McGee and Melissa, Doug McGee's right hand, and the Hungarian promoters sitting in front of Paul Stanley, just like this. Gene was on Paul's right, but Paul was sitting just in front of me, on the other side of the table. But there was a chick next to Paul, a nice blonde chick. Mm-hmm. And was like, we were sitting and eating 2 hours next to each other. And I of course, I had some questions. I wanted to talk to Paul, with my idol. He didn't pay attention on me. I was, I wasn't there.
Yeah, well, Paul, as you said before, Paul, he's so special, and you really need to grab his attention, to have a kind of bi-directional conversation. Zoltan, I just wanted to go a little bit deeper on your tribute band. So what do you think makes Kiss Forever band so unique? How do you guys stand out compared to some of the other tribute bands out there?
Well, I think the first of all, the numbers speaks itself with themselves. So having, being being in the business and having the market since 29 years and playing that many shows, it means something. So there's some places, festivals, clubs where we, let's say every year, every second year, we just get back and play again and play it again. Of course, many new countries, places. So we started in Hungary, then we went to Austria, then we went to Czech Republic, then to Germany. So now we're counting 34 countries in Europe, and we've been in Las Vegas on these Monster Mini Golf competition. They were choosing who's the best Kiss tribute band in the world. First of all, it was 200 bands, and then Kiss were choosing the best 20, and then they let the fans voting who's the best 4. And I've heard it from Tommy Taylor personally that they had to checking if there's some cheating or not, because we got so many votes. We got more than 10,000 votes online voting. So we got the chance being in Las Vegas on the final as the most voting band, the most voted band. We got more than 10,000, and the second band got like only 2,000.
Okay.
But then we flew to Las Vegas. That was the final with Mr. Speed, Rock and Roll Over from the States, Kiss Story from Australia, and Kiss Forever only from Europe. And then we could call it local patriotism, whatever. But Mr. Speed won the competition. But that was very interesting because all 4 bands had to play 4 songs. And we were playing our 4 songs. And then we get to the backstage, and Mr. Speed, before we got the info that who's the winner, they said, guys, that's your night.
Oh, yeah?
You have to be the winner.
Oh, wow.
And then that was the jury, and they said the winner is Mr. Speed, and we got the second prize. So we officially we are the second best in the world, and the official number 1 in Europe, as we were the only European band on the final. So that's what we could tell. But telling that second best in the world, it doesn't sounds that good that the best in Europe.
Yeah,
that sounds
of course,
very, very...
of course. But I think that even the second best in the world, it's wow, man, that's so significant. So with so many tribute bands, and it's even if you make it to the final, to the top 5, that's already an accomplishment. That's already success for you guys. So that must be awesome.
I'm very happy, man. I'm very, very proud of it. Of course, that's no question. And with Mr. Speed, we became friends immediately. Since that day, it was like 12 years ago now. In a monthly basis, we used to chat with Rick, the leader of Mr. Speed.
Yeah.
So but I think we can call him friend. He's a very, very, very cool guy. He's a very cool, very, very nice guy. And we really,
awesome.
Have talked to each other. They have an amazing show, and the stage and the costumes. Wow, really, wow.
That's awesome. So, and that you guys, do you pay tribute to any specific era of the band? So you kind of you rotate, you keep changing, costumes and stuff.
With the songs, we always keep changing. Yeah, of course, the bass what we have to play. There's the like 8-10 songs, but every night in the program, because the people want to hear the hits. But of course, when it comes to the club scene, the spring and autumn season, when we play in smaller places, in clubs, not on the festivals, in front of thousands of people, then we could play some really specialties, because the diehard fans want to hear like these songs, like, I don't know, the special song what Kiss not often play, or never played maybe.
Right.
So and of course we love to surprise the people. So, but when it comes to costumes, I think now we're using the 5th or 6th edition of costumes, but as the next year we have the 30th anniversary, we are really thinking then that we have to change it for next year to for another step, let's open the next page in the band's history.
There you go.
Right.
Go. Love it.
Zoltan, I want to go back to, meeting the members of the band, because, in North America, Kiss fans have a lot of opportunities to meet the band, not so much outside of North America. So you mentioned meeting Paul and Gene. Any other members of the band that you've met?
I met many times and played together with Bruce Kulick. Eric Singer, we played together 2 times, and we were hanging out a lot of times in Europe, of course.
Wow.
So Peter Criss, I met Peter on this Hungarian European press conference in Hungary. I met with Peter. I saw Ace personally many times, but I couldn't talk to him. He also didn't pay attention. But Tommy Thayer, of course. Tommy was in a jury in Las Vegas, and he also Tommy is an amazing guy. So I think on these communication level, Eric and Tommy is the most active with us, and Gene is through our friend Vary. We used to communicate with Gene. Paul is, it's not he's active on social media, but just on his own level. So he's always sharing photos when he's biking and when he's drinking these very expensive red wines. I was checking those his favorite, and one bottle is $1,000.
Wow.
And I said, what? For one bottle? Oh, yeah. And not a problem for him, but I wouldn't make it for one bottle of dry red wine, $1,000. That's has to be very special. So but I couldn't say that Eric Singer is our friend, but we were talking and hanging out a lot of times.
Okay. Zoltan, I have a couple of more questions on your fandom. So what's your favorite song of all time, and what's your favorite album?
You know how tough it is the question.
I know.
Of course the Paul's songs, but I can say first the album. Let's say, because it was one of my first tastes, Rock and Roll Over.
Okay.
I love Rock and Roll Over.
Okay.
And I have to say Revenge. Revenge is wow. It's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Revenge is a masterpiece. And of course, the first Alive, the Alive one is really top of the top. And when it comes to the songs, well, I love Mr. Speed. I love the band, the tribute band, and I love the song also.
Okay.
Mr. Speed. That's a great song. And but it's. I think I have a special taste because I love the rocking Kiss song, but I love the Paul songs on Unmasked. I love Easy As It Seems. Or Tomorrow. I love Tomorrow. I love Easy As It Seems. I love Is That You? Okay, it's a cover out or a cover song, but there's a lots of great Paul songs. Of course, in the 80s. Tears Are Falling, or Who Wants to Be Lonely.
Yeah, that's an interesting take, and we always discuss this with Past, that in North America, kind of Dynasty and Unmasked were not so popular, and even to this day, of course, they gain a little bit more of traction, but it was kind of the start of the end of Kiss. But in Europe and actually in Australia, in South America. Unmasked was amazing. It had a
Yeah,
huge success. You know, it was the entry point for the band. So
yeah,
that's great.
yeah,
And speaking of shows, I think that you've attended like almost 40 shows in your life. And
yeah.
when was your first one? And could you pick your favorite show of that you've attended?
The first was in Budapest in '88,
Okay.
and somehow, believe it or not, on a Crazy Nights tour, and believe it or not, I got somehow, I don't remember the story, I got immediately a stage pass for the show, but it said after show only. It was a sticker. It said Crazy Nights in Europe, Kiss Tour '88, after show only. So I was like 20, 23 at the time. So I imagined, oh Jesus, I got a Kiss stage pass. Okay, so after the show, I get to backstage. I want to talk to Paul. We were hanging out. We were talking about guitars and everything. And wow, how cool is it gonna be? And what's happened after the show? We had to wait until the people, were leaving. Then we get the backstage. It was like 20, 25 minutes after the show, and there was totally empty. There was nothing in it, nobody in the backstage. And we were so, oh, what's going on? Oh, nobody's here. Why the band left? I thought we can meet and talk. Why we got stage passes when we couldn't meet them? So and then it was the first show, Budapest, 88. And well, I saw the first reunion show in Madison Square Garden in New York
Okay.
in 96,
96. Yeah.
96 July 25th, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
I think July 25th.
Yeah.
It was also amazing, being in their hometown on their biggest run reunion tour, and in a home on the first show in Madison Square Garden after I don't know 17 years, how many years? No, they
Yeah.
had a gig in Madison Square Garden. They had a gig in Asylum tour, I think, maybe I think the Shade. I'm not sure, but whatever. So watching the first show in full makeup costume and in Madison Square Garden, it was really, really, really the top of the top for me.
Okay.
And before in New York, the first show we saw in Cleveland, some few days before New York, that was the first show. Yeah, when I saw the band in makeup and costume, the big four.
Yeah, with the original lineup.
Yeah. Peter. Mm-hmm. And I was crying like a kid. I was crying like a kid, like a baby. I said, oh.
Those are the four guys.
I was crying like a kid, really. Hard to forget that night. Yeah,
of course.
Listening to your stories, man, it's incredible, and it's so obvious that you have so many memories, amazing memories, thanks to the band. So here's another tough question: what would you say was your most memorable moment as a Kiss fan?
But as a musician, definitely playing together, the member or ex-member. So when the first time we played with Eric Singer in Vienna in '98, and we had a sound check at the afternoon, and we played together "Strange Ways." That was his choice.
Oh, wow.
"Strange Ways," Detroit Rock City, "Nothing to Lose," and maybe one more. But we started to play, and I got my position on the stage, and it was like so surreal to turn around, take a look behind the drums, and fuck, the Kiss drummer. I'm playing with the drummer of Kiss. Okay, he wasn't a member of Kiss at the time, but for me, his
of course,
his Kiss man.
Yeah.
I'm playing together. I got, you can imagine, I get goosebumps.
Of course.
So that was the most memorable as a musician. As a fan, well, it's very
There's
hard.
So many, eh? There's so many.
To choose only one, but that one. What connecting with Paul. Of course, that's remember when we were waiting for him in the Pantages Theater in Toronto. In a Phantom of the Opera, because that was the main door, and the back door, the stage door. And there was a bunch of people waiting for him at the backstage door. And there was a friend of mine who's living in Toronto, and me, and I was, and that was his idea, great idea. He told me, you have the position at the main door. I have the position at the stage door. We can see each other. It's only like 80 meters. And if you see Paul coming out from the building at the main door, give me a sign. If he comes out from the back door, I give you a sign.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul was leaving the building at the main door, and there was nobody, only me.
Wow.
And a bunch of people was waiting at the back door, and I saw him with his assistant guy, a blonde guy, coming out from the stairs. And I immediately gave a sign to my friend, hey, come over, come over. And he was running. Then we got the main door, and Paul and his assistant saw us, only us, waiting for him at the main door.
Uh-huh.
And he gave us a sign that if it's silence around or not. He was still behind the door. He wanted to know what's going on outside. He was asking, quiet, quiet, and we told him, quiet, you can come out.
That was great. That was great.
Then he left the building. That was only him, his assistant, and my friend and myself. It's only four. And of course, we asked him quickly, oh, hey, boy, it's great. Oh, and can we have a photo together? Yeah, sure. That's quick. And there was a limo, was waiting for him. So that was only four person, that was, and the driver, of course. And there was like 50 person who was waiting for him at the
other door.
At the door.
Oh,
well,
man.
It was also a very special moment for me.
Man, I was at the Phantom of the Opera show, and I remember after the show, there was a group of people waiting to see him backstage, and I snuck in with the crowd and went backstage hoping to meet Paul, and he had already left. Yeah. I was like so disappointed. My God. So, Zoltan, I want to ask you, because you were saying that you have a different perspective as a fan and as a musician in terms of your experience with Kiss. I want to ask you a similar question related to the Kiss Army, Kiss fans. So as a musician and as a Kiss fan yourself, what is your opinion on the Kiss Army, on Kiss fans?
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, as we are on the road so many years, and there's many people, many Kiss fans following us since many years, and we became friends, of course, and during the years. But I remember the first time when we were started touring in Germany in 1998, and we just got a backstage room. We got a stage, play the show, and then we put the makeup off. Then we're coming out from the backstage, and there was still many Kiss fans waiting in a club, and I couldn't forget their faces, that they tried to find out who's who in the band. So yeah. That guy, I got a quite big nose, so I'm always, they can say, oh, the big nose guy, that was Paul. Definitely, that was Paul. The big nose, that was Paul. But then it was interesting that then later on, of course, they following us and come to the other cities, and in Germany is the main market of Kiss Forever band. We play a lot in Germany, so then we became friends, and then now, after so many years, it's still so great to meet them and talk to them, and remembering the old time, or the good old times, remember when we met first time, and you have no clue who I am, and then you started to talk to us, and you started to ask that, oh, guys, please play next time. Kiss never played that's some certain songs. Would you please come over again, and next year please play that song? I never listened to the song live from Kiss, and so yeah, it's I definitely have some different perspective to speak with people and fans as a musician and as a fan on the same level. And we used to visit crazy German fans. For example, there's a girl called Daniela, and there was a butterfly auction, if I remember well, many years ago, when you could buy some Kiss-related stuff. And she's got Paul's stage Puma shoes from the Animalizer Asylum tour. And that was the first time when I saw it live. And Paul has got a relative big legs. I mean, his size is European size 46, 47. I don't know how's the American size, but he's got a very big shoes. What he's using, and Daniel was showing me his collection. I started to showing her my collection, my broken guitar. She hasn't got broken guitar. I said, "Oh, can I touch it?" And Paul signed it. Oh, Jesus! And yeah, it's a really great thing to meet fans and talk to them as a fan, then later on as a friend, because we of course became friends during the years.
You know, Zoltan, we know that you have a show tonight in Heringsford in Germany. So first off, thank you for taking the time, to be here with us, and we wish you all the best, for the show tonight and your current tour and everything that you're doing. But before we let you go, I have two kind of short questions. So, what does Kiss mean to you, and how are you planning to keep the flame alive now that the band is not touring anymore?
Well, it's a really I cannot say on just like this. Kiss means a word to me, really. So 40, I'm counting 44, 45 years is really, Kiss was always with me. And in good days, bad days, when I divorced, when my baby, was born, when I get married. Of course, that was Every Time I Look at You and Forever was the two songs on my wedding party, two main songs. So Kiss was always with me, still with me, and will always with me. So it's not a question. I don't know when I'm gonna die. What I'm gonna ask from by that what could be the farewell song. I guess it's gonna be, I don't know. I have to figure out. I still got time.
Still a long time to go. So. Still a long time to go. Come on.
And then keeping the flame. That's what we do since many years. So just play as much as possible.
For the band.
And thanks God we have got many invitations. Next year we're celebrating 30 years of Kiss Forever Band. We already have 25 shows booked for next year.
Wow.
So we definitely, and of course, as any other Kiss fan, I'm looking forward this Kiss Avatar thing. Who knows how it's going to be, but there has to be a reason why they're waiting 2-3 years. They're waiting for new technology because Paul was he's currently in London. Paul is in London, I think. He was watching the ABBA show. And he said it's amazing, but I think they want to keep it the Kiss Avatar, Kiss 3D show for next level. Okay. So maybe they're waiting for the technology is changing and it's gonna be amazing. I'm absolutely sure.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So once again, thank you so much, Zoltan, for your time. This has been great. A pleasure to have you here with us and getting to know your story. That's been amazing. So thank you so much.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you so much, and keep kissing all the time. never keep kissing. Never stop kissing.
No, Zoltan, we were talking before the show, and you were saying that you have a gig tonight in just a few hours, and you still took the time to be with us and share all your incredible stories. We really, really appreciate it. Thanks again. So, to the Kiss Army, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas, please send them to talktomie@kissarmynationpodcast.com. Till the next time, remember, never stop rocking. Take care, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and X. You can watch us on YouTube or listen to us on Podomatic, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. This is about you, so please like and subscribe to support the amazing guests we have on the show. See you soon, Kiss Army.